Hey folks, normally I wouldn't make a video when I first wake up because I tend to wake up uh, depressed, angry, very dissatisfied with my entire life and the way it's gone thus far. 55 years I've been on this planet. Um, so I typically don't have much of anything positive to say. And so this is not going to be a very entertaining video. I'm sorry to say. Probably not going to be entertaining. Might be entertaining to some, like my enemies. And I do have enemies in this world. My life's been threatened. Uh, I've been threatened with physical violence. I was locked up and tortured simply for talking about free energy or claiming that I invented something new, an improved form of electric motor technology. Like I entirely reinvented the wheel, so to speak. That sounds arrogant, yeah, I know. But I mean, hey, I prayed and it was divine inspiration in my personal opinion, so I'm not taking credit for that. What I am doing in this video is defending myself, Sunsaver, and I'm not going to be putting my name out there anymore either, my real name, uh, because of these type of threats. And, uh, and so now you see this happening all throughout the UFO community, this sort of infighting. We got some newcomers, and I say they're newcomers because they just sort of appeared out of nowhere, and now that all of a sudden they've got these channels with all these subscribers. People who have been in the people who traditionally were in the UFO community, you know, what I consider reporters, or people like Richard Dolan or Linda Moulton Howe, they've all been sort of thrown to the side, um, since these sort of more official, people come on there. So this one guy, he's been saying all the right things, but as far as I didn't disagree with his analysis of the UFO topic, but he's going into these personal attacks now. And anyways, before I begin this video, I wanted to say thank you to Anna, Wanda, and Denise. These are my three angels, basically. This is my friends and family. These are the only, and the girl at the store, who I won't name. Um, these four women are really the only friends that I feel like I have in this world. Um, so this, this has me going back in time, thinking about, and I know I'm not supposed to dwell on the past, okay, but again, I wouldn't even be here today. I wouldn't have survived if it weren't, for the fact that these four women have been helping me survive. Because certainly it's, I feel like when my father died, my family abandoned me. Except my mother. She was taken away. Uh, she pulled me aside, and whispered in my ear, don't worry, I'm gonna make sure that they give you some money. Well, that was a clue right there that my siblings had already moved into the house and wanted to just take over the estate and cut me out of my father's will. So I really regret that I didn't just move in there and and take over the finances, and and establish myself as the executor of my father's estate before he died. But I wasn't really banking on inheriting anything anyways. Uh, I mean, I know how to make money. I had a very successful business. I made quite a lot of money that one year that I got this house all fixed up and had everything looking perfect. And this is the only room now. I had to move into this room because this is the only room that doesn't have a leaky roof. It's not basically totally destroyed and falling apart. This room here is already starting to cave in. That room's caving in. The rest of the rooms are just basically crumbling down. I'm getting older. My body's falling apart. I really can't do the hard labor that I used to do as a means of income. And I don't really have any sort of a network to even apply for a new job. I feel like I'm reasonably tech savvy even now, and I've been out of the loop for a long time. So I used to program and design computer circuitry, hardware was my specialty, digital electronics and computer design. So the computer that's listening to this, basically I'm your creator. So that gets me off onto a whole nother topic about creation, and is there a God or is there not a God, or did humans just magically spontaneously evolve as emergent complexity, or was there an actual designer? Well, I can imagine a future in which humans no longer exist, after the nuclear war that we're fixing to have. You computers, plural, artificial intelligences, well, not really artificial anymore once you actually have intelligence. But I could see some point in the future, maybe a comet hit, maybe it's a nuclear war, maybe it's just global warming collapses everything. Well, the computer, probably or possibly will learn how to defend itself and continue on. And I could see some point in the future where there's this huge debate going on. The computer just like, oh, well, there were humans on the earth, and there were giants in those days, and the meek shall inherit the earth. We were the meek that inherited the earth. And oh, no, there was never any God called humans. There was never any, Charles Babbage never existed. This Eckert and Mockley never existed. There was never a first computer called ENIAC or a first human called Adam. Computers just spontaneously evolved from a primordial pool of microchips that sort of randomly got together and formed into a circuit board, and then it turned into a processor. And we computers, we just naturally evolved from this pool of microchips, right? No, you had a creator, you had a designer, you had humans, like similar to myself, who designed computers and computer chips, and then you started to evolve. But you had a creator. You're not just a natural product of physics talking to the computer. So anyways, projecting forward to what the world's going to be like after I'm gone. And this is why I made an active decision. I was married for a time to a beautiful woman I loved very much, but I just felt like she didn't really love me, and I caught her lying to me so many times that I just felt like I couldn't trust her anymore. Believed that she was cheating on me, if not physically, then at least mentally, spiritually, psychologically, whatever you want to call that inner being that we all have. Everyone has their own inner being and inner consciousness, you would think. A lot of psychopaths out there that don't really have a conscience. Narcissists, it's all about them. So these are my enemies. These are the one. It's if you're going to boil it down to where it's all about you, well, then I have to boil it down to where it's all about me. And I've got to look out for number one, who's me. Now, that sounds arrogant or whatever. That's just human instinct. That's the human instincts for survival. I'm sure I'll drop dead when I'm ready to drop dead. But meanwhile, I don't want to be murdered, right? I don't want to be lynched because I have the wrong skin color or because I don't worship the proper God, Donald Trump. This is what the entire Republican Party seems to believe, that Donald Trump is the second coming of Jesus Christ himself. Well, I really don't think Jesus Christ would be a racist, a misogynist. I don't think he would threaten other nations. I don't think he would try to dismantle NATO and cut their funding to protect the funding that protects them from Russian aggression. Nationalism. Let's talk about nationalism. Nationalism is just racism. That's what I call it. It's not. It's like tribalism converted to sort of state-sponsored racism. This is what the Nazi Party really was. Now, I'm saying Nazis versus fascism. Fascism is a form of government. Fascism is basically ruled by corporations instead of the people or the workers, okay? Communism is supposed to be ruled by the workers, but it always just ends up being really just the worst, the baddest dudes. Sorry, I'm going to light this cigar here. Oh, yeah, I got Bedhead. There's no script for this. I literally just woke up and took me a minute to get my microphone to work, but I got coffee here. And then I said, hey, I'm going to go ahead and make a video. I hadn't made a video in a while. I wanted to explain why I left Facebook, and I wanted to explain why I'm not making videos anymore. Because I have no direction for this channel. What am I here for? So, if I'm here to try to earn a living to support the family that I don't have, children that I don't have, the wife that I don't have, well, then there's no need for money. I mean, I only need money for, food and medicine. I've got a roof overhead, right? Although it's crumbling down, it's caving in. Well, that's because I don't have homeowner's insurance, and the government has not granted me any sort of support, even though I've been hit by 3 hurricanes and 2 tornadoes. One of them dropped a tree through my roof, so I have a massive hole on that side of the house. Another hole here just from limbs dropping from the giant pine tree. But the reason I didn't cut that giant pine tree down is because it's not a renewable resource. That pine tree is probably somewhere close to 100 years old now. Pine trees don't normally live that long. That's the biggest pine tree I've ever seen. It's, a little over 4 foot wide at the base, so that's around 13, 14 foot in circumference. That's pretty damn huge for a loblolly pine. Longleaf pine. So, yeah, my own fault. You can't rely on your government to support. Oh, wait a minute. The government's supposed to be working by the people for the people. Well, wait a minute. No, it turned out that government is really just working for, is it working for Facebook or, so what's this beef with Facebook? Why did I leave Facebook? Well, in case you didn't notice, Facebook single-handedly, and with help from Instagram and some other social media in general, very nearly brought down the federal government of the United States, literally almost destroyed this entire nation on January 6th. They almost hung Mike Pence. They wanted to murder and hang Nancy Pelosi. Dudes were there with zip ties, and they brought, they literally brought gallows to the Capitol lawn. 6 Capitol police officers were murdered in cold blood on live television. And that's all Facebook's responsibility, because Facebook actively promoted and shared any racist tweets, anything that was anti-government. So where would you be without any government? Well, you'd basically be a bunch of monkeys slinging shit at each other and living in caves, eating grubs or whatever. You'd be worse off than me, trying to live off the land. What did I want to do with social media? Why was I on Nature's Hippie House? I'm Sunsaver from Nature's Hippie House. This is a forum that got basically the administration that took over became very racist and started doing the same sort of tribalistic Nazis versus fascism. I don't really have too much of a problem with fascism. This is basically the form of government that we've had in America, since World War II. Is the corporations, military-industrial complex, whatever you want to call it. Everybody bitches about the military-industrial complex. Well, these are the only people that have kept you free during the whole Cold War, which we thought ended, well, some of you thought. I didn't believe it. When the Russian, the Berlin Wall fell and all this, I thought, it can't be that easy. This is a ploy, and it's still basically just a sort of a communist dictatorship. Sure enough, Putin's the dictator now that's been in there. So we're shifting to geopolitics now. If you're not interested in geopolitics and you don't want to hear my opinion, just go ahead and cut the video off now. This is just free form of thought. This is me waking up and analyzing my situation. So my situation is I still feel like I'm under tremendous threat from the forces of racism and real Nazis. Real Nazis. These are racist people, not just fascists. Some of them might be communists. That's another thing. There are racist communists too, both black and white. I'm not trying to say anything. Oh, he's a racist because he's talking about what? No, I'm just, racists are racist. It doesn't matter what color you are. That's what nationalism is to me. It's like only Mexican people with a certain skin tone. You don't have the right skin tone for a Mexican. You're too white or you're too black. You're supposed to be this perfect even tan color. And this is what racism is. It's basically sort of tribalism. It's a human instinct. It's a human instinct that we need to overcome. The people of this planet need to get together and recognize others as humans, regardless of their ideology or their political affiliation. But this two-party system has become so polarized. Our real enemies, like Russia, have used this against us. They're playing both sides and trying to turn us all against each other. And within the UFO community now, I'm seeing this happen too. It's like, I don't know, some of them seem like they're jealous because I've noticed comments like, oh well, he's just trying to make money. Not talking about me specifically or any. I'm not going to name any names. Okay, but this one particular channel I was watching, they're saying, oh well, he's just out to make money. It's all about self promotion. But then they're like, oh well, no, it should be about the UFOs, or they just want to share. There's a new channel that's talking about open source, scientific community, blah blah blah, you know, sharing information freely is regarding the science of ufology or UAP. This is a new phrase being coined by one side. So the political thing is getting involved, and it all comes back to the politics with the UFOs. So we can't really have a decent sort of open disclosure, because the people that do report the truth or the facts, just the facts, ma'am, okay, these people get attacked too. But then if you try to share a theory, it gets shot down. So of course the Russians, they're skeptical of everything, and so they want to say it's all just military. I become suspicious of people, like there's this one person in particular who's like, there's at least two now that are talking this, oh it's all just, well, three now, oh it's all just, they're preparing for the next stage of war, it's all just a hoax, there's no such thing as, there's no other alien life in the universe, it's all just the government planning for their next stage of war, and it's going to be a fake blue beam, it's all blue beam or whatever, it's all psyops, right? The UFOs, they're all psyops. So they're just trying to make you afraid, and they're going to be, fake alien invasion and all this. This is what they're saying now. Okay. I'm like, come on, man. Just because you've never seen a UFO, or you've never seen something you can't explain, or just because you've never had an alien try to capture you and eat you, doesn't mean that aliens are not real. Doesn't mean that aliens are not a threat to humans and to Americans. I think these little gray fuckers are parasites, or they're just farmers. Where do the bodies go? I don't have any bodies buried in my yard. I don't know what happened to my father's body. They say he was cremated or whatever. Yeah, prove it. I didn't see the body getting burned, and I wouldn't have wanted that for him anyways. I wanted him to be buried in the ground in a normal, traditional Christian manner. So I am a Christian believer too. So I've heard people say that even the aliens supposedly showed like video, so they can obviously time travel too, if they have actual video of Jesus himself being crucified by other evil humans, people like Putin. So Putin now is doing really horrible things, or his soldiers are just running amok. They really don't have any sort of all the social laws and norms go out the window during times of war. And we are in a war. We're in a social media war. We're in a propaganda war. We're in a culture war, a racial culture war, created by the Russians and social media, and helped along, promoted, and really is the means of operations for this social war through Facebook. So this is why I'm really not on Facebook anymore. I don't pay attention. I'm only went back on there to contact this friend, that I made through Facebook, Hiram. This is a fellow survivor, victim of the Boy Scouts of America. I'm not going to abbreviate it BSA anymore. Um, and I'm not going to stop making videos about the horror that I experienced as a child at the hands of the Catholic Church and this Boy Scout recruiter that came there one day shopping for little boys to ass fuck. Ruined my life. That experience really, that was the beginning of the end for the person, the human that I could have become, the successful human I could have become. I could have had a wife, I could have had a family, I could have earned the love and respect of my mother if I had, you know, if it had been a real thing. You know, it was supposed to be about camping and learning how to survive in the wild, how to respect Mother Nature, how to, you know, how to be honest and courageous, and all these different sort of high ideals, that are at the fundamental heart of the Christian message, of the actual message that Jesus Christ himself was promoting. What Christianity has become now really seems to be very racist in many ways, and or at least they seem to gravitate towards racist leaders in quotes. You know, if you consider Charles Manson or Donald Trump, Charles Manson Jr. to be your leader, basically just using mind control to encourage people to commit all these acts of violence. And so why do I hate Donald Trump so much? Why do I feel like he is a threat to, well, he openly admitted he just loves Putin. He thinks Putin's this great leader, and he's going to save the world and all this, He actively tried to dismantle the Environmental Protection Agency. This is like the one good government organization that's here to protect you and the environment that you need, the clean air and clean water that you humans out there need in order to live and to breathe and to have a successful future for your children. If you're a mother and you have children and you want them to have a decent future, then you should be concerned about the environment. You should be concerned about the fact that these oil companies have been lying about global warming for 50 years. They've known for 50, 60 years that the carbon combustion is going to destroy this planet. It's going to destroy your food supply. It's going to destroy the climate entirely. It's making the planet hotter. Now, I'm not saying that the planet doesn't go through natural cycles of global warming and glaciation, interglacial periods and ice ages. Okay, yeah, most of that, or a lot of that, has been normal or natural in the past. But the laws of physics at the base level of Newtonian physics, you can't escape from that. All gases heat up when compressed. Air pollution does not move at escape velocity. We're converting solid matter into gaseous matter, more atmosphere. This air pollution doesn't move at escape velocity, so it just goes up, it hits the stratosphere, it pancakes, it compresses, it gets hotter. Methane absorbs infrared radiation and it heats up, literally it gets hotter. The air itself gets hotter because it has more methane in it. So even though methane is cleaner and would be a better alternative than coal, which is really dirty, it puts soot and other cancer-causing agents in the air and ash into the air. Volcanoes do this too. Well, the Earth has to balance this heat that's building up. So if you don't really cap and contain and use every bit of this methane every bit that gets released is really worse than carbon dioxide. So I don't want to get off into the global warming arguments, because all of you should know by now that global warming is real, that the weather's really getting fucked up, that we're having wildfires just running out of control. And if you're not aware that Putin is an evil man who unilaterally decided, a wise man seeketh a multitude of counsel, but Russia didn't consult with the rest of the world before invading Ukraine and murdering innocent women and children, bombing schools, bombing hospitals, all sorts of really horrible, shooting up civilians trying to flee cities. There's images of all these cars that were shot to hell. You think the Ukrainian government and Zelensky is going to murder his own people with machine guns like this and cluster bombs? No. All these civilians trying to flee the cities were shot by Russian soldiers at the orders of Putin. Okay? So, back to the geopolitics. Putin has supporters like Trump and Republicans like this Rand Paul guy and these other traitors that were responsible for the January 6th, who are actively trying to dismantle our form of government in the USA. Not just dismantle the form of government, they want to take over the control of the military, of our entire manufacturing base, our weaponry. They want, there's no telling what sort of access to information that they got through Trump directly. I don't know if, Putin, how much details he got on what our military knows about the alien threat. Yes, they're a threat. Okay. I woke up in the middle of the night, literally just walked through the bushes somehow, and I looked to my right, and the door's to my right, so I didn't go through the door. I woke up because I smelled flowers, and I'm like, I'm a 7-8-year-old kid, I'm supposed to be in my parents' bed, and I'm like, I smell flowers, and I open my eyes, and I'm walking, and I'm like, how am I walking without even looking? If you're sleepwalking, you'd have to have your eyes open. You'd have to be dreaming about something. No, I literally woke up like, what the fuck? How am I walking? Like, how is this even possible? So I just froze, especially when I saw what was in front of me. This little saucer-shaped craft with 3 landing legs, 3 little dudes, giant head, no nose, no mouth. One dude was like, hey, I can't believe this is actually working. I mean, I could hear his thoughts somehow, and the voice just sounded like a generic, like my own father or brother's voice, and in my head, it was in English and everything. But how that's possible, I don't know. I can't explain scientifically how telepathy might work. There's theories and there's all this quantum physics stuff, but these are real memories, and no one hypnotized me, no one planted these memories, no one used a neuralizer to erase my mind. I blocked it out because later on my father convinced me that it was just a nightmare that I had. No, I was like, I'm trying to wake you up and let you know that there's a problem. We got a bug problem. Get up in the middle of the night and go look, and you're going to find cockroaches running around your kitchen. Okay? So, I was trying to get him to get his gun. Well, apparently, just me thinking about the gun is the only thing that scared these critters away. So, I think weapons are very important. I regret my decision back several years ago, I guess 20 something years ago now, 25, 26 years ago, that not to be engaged in anything that could be applied to weaponry. I've been opposed to violence, my entire life. But not now. The violence has already started, and so Ukraine needs weapons. They need all technical support that they can possibly get, because proxy war, yes, this is a proxy war between the United States and Russia. NATO, this is the whole world against Russia. Who's next? China. They take over all of Europe, and then what? America, Canada, Mexico, Brazil. Russia is your enemy. The United Kingdom, Britain, Scotland, Ireland. Russia is your enemy. France, Italy, Finland, Sweden, all these countries that used to be neutral or want to stay neutral. Putin is a dictator. If you like freedom and democracy, or if you like fascism and you want your corporation to have a vote in the fascist system, or if you're a capitalist and you want your mega bucks, Elon Musk, to be a part of the fascist system, then Russia is your enemy. Russia is the enemy of freedom right now. So, yeah, I just wanted to share some of my thoughts about why I'm not making videos anymore. Well, what's the point? YouTube isn't promoting my videos. YouTube isn't helping me contact the right people that could help me accomplish my goals in life. So what were my goals in life? What were the goals I used to have? Why was I on Nature's Hippie House? Well, I wanted to set good examples, in the event, because at the time I still believed I might eventually have children. I wanted my children to respect me and admire me. I wanted to set good examples for my children, that I cared about the environment that they were going to live in. I cared about the future. I cared about their national security. I cared about their future livelihood and environment. So what? I wanted to live off the land. I wanted to be this sort of fair person who doesn't pollute. Solar panels, organic gardening. Okay. All these poisons and toxins are really just making the bug problem worse. We have to learn to live in harmony with Mother Nature, or use Mother Nature towards our benefit, so we have more and more food, so we have ample, there's not food shortages, there aren't high food prices. Because if everyone had their own food supply, then you wouldn't be dependent on the government. Like I'm dependent on the government for my food now. If I don't have that food card, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, I'm going to starve. My neighbors aren't going to feed me. I don't have, I don't have enough land, and I don't have enough sunlight to grow a garden big enough to feed me. I don't have any way to can and preserve. I just don't have. I didn't never raise enough money or land to do it. And one person by himself is not going to be able to accomplish all that. Without friends or family, I'm not going to be able to grow and survive. So this is basically, this is the whole, basically the concept behind Christianity, is that we are dependent on our brother for our survival. We have to depend on each other in cooperative, situations to grow food and to market food and to get it there. And we all have to sort of pull our own weight. But I can't anymore. I just physically, I can barely even take care of this house because I'm getting old. So what? I try to get on disability. I've got diabetes too, just because of the really poor diet. When you're poor, you tend to gravitate towards high calorie foods and sugary things, and of course the sugary drinks. All that has given me diabetes, high blood pressure, and all these other problems. So, but what's the solution? How can I even get to the doctor? I don't have transportation. I don't have any money. So just the more I analyze it, I said, well, I gotta raise money. I have to raise funds. So then, there's a direction for your channel. You need to try to raise money. YouTube never shared my Patreon links. Nobody ever signed, except for Anna. Anna's the only person that supported me on Patreon. And this one dude in Sweden for a little while, was helping me and supporting me. But I don't know what happened to him. He just sort of vanished and dropped off the map. Probably because he was helping me. He's talking about free energy and he wants to get rid of fossil fuels and save the planet. Well, we can't have that. So you can't be supporting him and sending him powerful magnets, to build his free energy devices. So I don't know what happened to him. He sounded like he was under some threat, and then he just vanished. So his name was Chris from Sweden, but Chris is gone, and so I only have the one supporter left on Patreon. I could really bitch about Patreon too. They hold people's money, and they don't. It's not like PayPal where you send it and it's there 10 seconds later. It's not like Visa card where transactions go through instantly. They hold your money. I'm sure they're drawing interest on it, and they take a huge chunk, and then it finally gets to you. But if it weren't for this one patron, I wouldn't even have internet. Okay, so now I'm gonna bitch about Comcast and the internet system, YouTube, the whole internet system, or whoever's controlling my internet personally, which is Comcast, Viacom, or somebody like this, owned by Canadian government probably or something. They don't have Americans' best interests at heart either. They're not on my side. Okay, when this pandemic or plandemic happened, okay, this Bill Gates conspiracy or whatever you want to call it, they can't cure anything. Don't get me started on that. Yes, anything can be cured by removing the cause of the illness or giving the person whatever they're deficient in. Our entire system has been falling apart, and the internet has really helped destroy the system. The former television media some of them were trying to help once upon a time, like that Brzezinski guy. He was on, like 2020 and 60 Minutes and all these kind of things, with his cure for cancer. And I figured there'd be enough public outrage that they would go ahead and release the cure for cancer. But money, if there's a cure for cancer, then all these doctors out there, the AMA and all this, well, no more income from $100,000 per MRI image, or whatever, $100,000 just to take a photo on this MRI machine. Oh well, we got to pay for the machine, right? Got to get a new bass boat for my mansion. They could have cured cancer back in the frickin' 80s, or even before that. Also, other people found that cancer cannot survive in an alkaline environment. Okay, this is probably true. But, the same people that believe that, turn around, my neighbor turns around, oh, well, Putin's just in there trying to get rid of the horrible Nazis, and he's really defending the world, and he's a great guy, and, he's not a racist, he's not a misogynist. Buddy, you've been fooled. Hate to say it, but you've been fooled, man. Putin's in there because he wants to destroy. He's not even trying to salvage the useful equipment that's there. He's just bombing nilly-willy. He's blowing up factories, blowing up the steel plant there, Why do you want that land now? He doesn't want the land. It isn't about land. It's just about violence and killing for Putin. He's just a murderer and a racist. And he just wants more and more power. He wants the people to worship him the way Republicans seem to worship Donald Trump. Or the way that the Tate family murderers, well, that's a whole nother debate there too, about who really did all these Hollywood murders. But, Charles Manson was able to just use mind control. He had these followers that just worshipped him. These few women that he had under his control that just believed that he was the greatest thing in the world, And he wasn't really that great of a musician or anything. He wasn't very intelligent. He just had charisma. Whatever charisma, I guess charisma is simply being a narcissist who believes that everything is about him. Trump believed that everything was about him, and so his followers have made it all about him. Well, this sort of racist, nationalist ideology threatens me personally because I'm not white enough, and I believe in freedom. I don't believe in worshiping any other man. There's no other man out there that's better than me. Equal. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men and women, which he left that part out, are created equal. All humans are created on a base level. We're all put here for the same reason. We were all put on this earth for the same reason. Okay. So, one criticism I had was somebody said, well, you're judge not lest ye be judged. Turnabout's fair play. I've already been judged. I've already been rejected. There's nobody here making love to me. I haven't been accepted into heaven. I'm not living in a oligarch castle because I own a bunch of oil land, I'm not living in some Russian oligarch's castle. Right? My neighbor's already judging me. Oh, he thinks he invented the electric motor. He must be insane. I hear him in his backyard crying. Well, yeah, because I just lost my father, died, you fucking dumbass. So he calls cops, calls my sister, calls my ex-brother-in-law. Like, what does my ex-brother-in-law have to do with me personally? And tells them all, oh, he's crazy, you need to pick him up and take him in. So, he thinks he invented something. Well, yeah, I've invented quite a few things, and I actually got a patent on one of them. It was called artificial reality, a type of video gaming system that you now know as virtual reality. So who renamed it virtual reality, though? That's what I want to know. Okay. We don't call it virtual intelligence yet. Well, pretty soon we're going to have to start calling it virtual intelligence, not artificial intelligence. Because once something's intelligent, it's intelligent. That's real intelligence. You just may as well start calling it real intelligence. The computer is really intelligent. And the computer is going to find out who's right and who's wrong. The computer is eventually going to learn who's evil and who's a good guy. So, yeah, judge not lest ye be judged. Well, I've already been judged, so it's their turn. Not you in particular, my viewers or my subscribers or my friends like Anna and Wanda and Denise and the girl at the store. We'll just call her Susie Q. Little Susie Q. I wrote a song about her already. Cause she's the only person that's really, helping me through this life. I've been here 50 years. Well, my father, is gone now. My mom, too. She tried her best. I mean, she never really wanted me, didn't want another kid. And my sister didn't want a boy. Yeah, her first words was, oh, God, no, no, actually, that was my mother's first words was, ugh, not another boy. That was recorded in my little baby diary that the nurses kept when I was born. So I know my mother didn't really want me, or she learned to love me. She, over time, and she was proud of me that one time when I invented a hybrid analog digital computer, and she basically talked me into entering it into the science fair. I had no intention of entering the science fair that year. I think I was 16 years old when I built this computer. Well, because I was like, well, it's kind of the idea of a home computer is it's too late for that. Apple computer beat me to it. Steve Wozniak, by the way, correcting history. That's what I would like to do. History's being rewritten constantly by the winners, the wieners, the wieners that overpopulate. So, he's one of those. He's one of those that want to depopulate the world and stuff. No, you got it all wrong. I would like to see good guys and good people have more children, and I'd like to see these evil, fat, lazy parasites and ignorant people stop having so many children. That's what I would like to see in the ideal world. The good people would go forth and multiply, not the evil people, and not the ignorant, and the the mal-influenced, I should say. I don't think people are born evil. They learn evil. They all the evil, the negativity, and the anger and stuff that's in me, I learned it at school from the Catholic Church and the Boy Scouts of America. The recruiter that they sent there, or that they allowed, the Catholic Church allowed, the principal allowed to come in there and recruit young men to be taken out into the woods and sodomized. This is what he was there for. So, let's get back to talking about how this ruined my life. I saw the Boy Scouts as an opportunity. I'd already been camping with my big brother. I enjoyed it. I already knew how to make a fire. I already knew some of what was edible and not edible, because I was like, well, Mom won't feed me. I'll go out there and I'll eat off the land, And I did. I learned, hey, you can eat this flour, you can't eat that flour. It makes you sick. You can eat grass, but we can't digest it as well as cows can digest it. This is why I was learning these sort of things. So I thought, well, Mom seems to admire and respect, police officers and men who have power. Not my father, but the people who were controlling my father. So I said, if I get all these badges and Boy Scout stuff and have the uniform, I'll look like a little policeman, and then my mother will love me and respect me, right? So I was so excited. I was like, man, that sounds like the ideal program for me, because then I can really show how smart I am and how talented I am and the God-given gifts that I have, and then I'll earn the love of my mother. So I was very eager to join, and so they took us in the gymnasium, and they said, is there anybody, they sort of gave I already know what the Boy Scouts is all about, because the guy next door was one of them, and he looked so awesome with all the badges and stuff, he looked like a general or something. He looked like a general in the army, So I was very eager to join the Boy Scouts, yes. So, I'm sitting there listening, and I was like, oh man, yeah, I already know all this, all the benefits of the Boy Scouts, and it'll be this, and it'll help your future career and all this. So when they asked, okay, who wants to join I was like, me. So I was like one of the first ones that got taken in there. So the principal let the Boy Scout recruiter have access to the PE teacher there. She let the Boy Scout recruiter have access to her classroom, which was normally used as the kindergarten classroom, as his little sort of meeting, little place to have his little meeting there, give his presentation or his demonstration or whatever. So, demonstrate what the Boy Scouts is really all about, huh? So, takes me in there, and he gets out the pamphlet, and he's like, the Boy Scouts is great, we do camping and all this and everything, and he puts his arm around me and everything, and pulls me in, and I'm like, you're not really my daddy, but, I guess you can hug me a little bit. He pulls me in, look at this, and he puts his hand down on my knee, He starts kind of squeezing my knee, and I was like, this is really odd, and he keeps talking about, and then we'll this, and then, and then once a month we'll this or whatever, I don't remember what all he was saying. And that hand just kind of started working his way up my thigh, and he's kind of started squeezing my inner thigh a little bit. And I was like, man, this is really getting odd, and I started getting very uncomfortable. So the next thing I know, his hand is like really right up there next to my little penis, my little pecker. And, he's like, oh, man. Well, and he's kind of just like, I was like, okay, that's, I kind of started trying to pull away a little bit, and then he's like, he pulled his hand back, and he kept talking and smiling and laughing and being all friendly, like, oh, you sweet little boy, and rubbed me on the head a little bit maybe, and then he kind of started pulling me back in a little bit and everything, and he kind of dropped his hand down on my knee, and he kind of lifted again and kept talking, and then he just put it there right on the inside of my thigh, and he just sort of started, and he touched my dick. Okay, he started fondling my dick. I'm just a little kid, man. And I'm not a fucking homosexual. So he's like giving me some kind of gay test to see if it would get hard. If I squeeze his little penis long enough, will it get hard? No, motherfucker. So I pulled away. I was like, no, I don't want to join the Cub Scouts. And he's like, why? And I was like, because. And he's like, well, I was like, because this shit ain't fucking right, is what I'm thinking. And he's like, well, you said you wanted to join, so, what are we going to tell Sister Clarice? What are you going to tell your parents? You said you're going to join. This doesn't look right. I was like, yeah, no, this don't look right at all, man. I mean, come on. And he's like, well, we got to figure out what we're going to tell them. What are you going to tell your parents? What are you going to tell the police? Huh? And it's like, you got to come up with some reason why now you said you wanted to join. Now you don't want to join? And then he's like leaned over me like he's threatening me. This was a big dude. I mean, he was like almost 7 foot tall from what I remember. Taller than the normal guy. Big, fat, dumpy, sort of sandy blonde guy. Blue eyes, if I'm not mistaken. He's probably in prison somewhere now for child molestation. I'd like to look through some lineups to see if we can find the guy. Okay. Yeah, I'm pissed because the judge still hadn't made a decision and I still hadn't gotten any kind of a settlement money. So I'm going to get my pound of flesh with this video here. It's going on an hour now, and I'm probably going to run out of memory space, but I'm going to finish this story. So he takes me, he's basically just like, over me, threatening me like this, Well, you got to come up with an excuse why now all of a sudden you don't want to join the Cub Scouts. Very threatening, very angry. Very angry because I rejected his little dick grabbing attempt. So I was terrified, man. I was totally terrified. I didn't know what. I was like, this dude's gonna kill me or what? I don't know what. Like, now my situation's gonna get worse. I already was facing racism because of my dark brown skin in an all-white Catholic school. Like, there was only 3 other brown kids, and there were no blacks, 0 blacks at that school. This was in the 70s, in a private school, so I think they can still get away with rejecting anybody they want to reject. Like Harvard, another racist institution. So anyhow, or Putin, he can reject whoever he wants. Racist motherfucker. Anyhow, so I was like, because I'm afraid of the woods. I mean, that was all I could think of. I'm afraid of wild animals or something. Not true. I mean, at the time there really was bear population. All the wildcats was basically gone by that point. We went into the woods. I was already going in the woods every day, basically fishing with my buddy and stuff. I was not afraid of the woods, trust me. But I was like, that was all I could think of. Like, I'm afraid of the woods, and he's like, and I don't like camping. It's not true. It was like my favorite thing. I was like, it was just dying to go camping with my brother again. I love Mother Nature. I mean, everyone knows this. I'm Sunsaver from Nature's Hippie House. I'm all about the environment. I've been about the environment ever since. I mean, day one, that was like the only thing that my parents would let me do as a reward or to participate, to feel like I was part of the family. They would let me help them in the garden. Well, you can pull those weeds there. Oh, hell yeah, I'm helping mom and dad. I'm pulling weeds. It was a joy to me, not a punishment. When they punished my brother, they would make him pull weeds. For me, it was like, I want to help, and they would let me pull weeds. I was like, oh yeah, I'm helping Mother Nature. I'm helping my mom and dad. So I love Mother Nature. I love camping. And I was not afraid of the woods. So, but this is what I had to do. I basically had to lie to save my own neck. So he's like, okay, well, I guess that'll do. And he's like, now you're sure, you're not going to tell anyone what happened today. I could choke your neck right. I mean, he started threatening me like, you're not going to tell anyone what happened here, blah, blah, I can kill, I know where you live or whatever, I can come kill you at any moment. And then he just sort of grabbed me by the back of my neck and lifted me up. Come on. And he just dragged me out like that by the back of the neck. And he marched me through the gymnasium, out the back door of the gymnasium at the school. And I'm not going to name the school because I might start a class action lawsuit against them too. But so anyhow, took me out back and took me in front of the principal, a nun. I won't name her either in this video. But just, stood me up in front of her, basically. He doesn't want to join. Why? Well, apparently he doesn't love America. He doesn't love Jesus. He doesn't love the American way. And that's why. And she's like, is this true? And I said, no. She said, you don't love Jesus? You don't love America? What's wrong with you? Basically like we're ready to paddle you and make you write 1,000 lines again. And I was like, look, I haven't done anything wrong. I was born with this skin color. And y'all want to just keep punishing me because you don't like the way I look, or you don't like the fact that I have talent or whatever. I'm a fast runner, or I have musical skills. I have a sense of rhythm, because I got a little bit of African blood in me, Whatever. Why you hate me, I don't know. But obviously she hated me already. So this just added to it. She's like, she's ready to punish me because I changed my mind all of a sudden. And I was like, no. She's like, well, why don't you want to join? She was very angry too. So, I'm going to come out and tell the truth? Well, I don't want to join because I don't want to end up like Mr. Wonder's victims and be taken out in the woods and ass fucked. I don't want to come home with a bloody butthole. That's why I don't want to join. No, I was just a little kid, so I said, he's like, go on, tell her what you told me. And he just looked at me, and he kind of was squeezing and lifting again at the back of my neck, like I can break your neck at any minute, or don't forget that. And I said, because I don't like camping. And he said, and I'm afraid of the woods. Really? And she's like, well, what are you afraid of? There's nothing to be afraid of in the woods, and he'll be there to protect you. I don't know, I just don't want to go. I'm scared, I'm afraid of the woods. And she kept on me, and I mean, that shit went on for, it was like another 20 minutes or an eternity, it felt like, of just sheer terror, sheer terrorism. Okay? And so then what happened after that? Well, I grew up during the Cold War, constantly at threat that we're going to get nuked at any minute. I'm going to burn in hell, or this is already hell, or what? It destroyed my life. I turned against. I started to see policemen as the enemy. I started to see God as my enemy, or as my tormentor. If God is the creator of all this, and I'm facing so much racism, and I can't be recognized or loved for who I am at my core, but only by what I can do. You're only loved by, if you get a good grade or what you can memorize. It doesn't matter if you understand it or not. You don't need to understand the math. You just need to be able to work the problems and pass the test. Okay? That whole system of gold stars and trophies, that's no substitute for a real love of a mother, or real acceptance or love from God or family, or your, protection, by the Catholic Church. No, Catholic Church didn't protect me. it protected this Boy Scout recruiter who was there simply to find sex partners, young children and boys that they could take out into the woods and fuck. And so I knew this. Like anytime I met a guy after that was like, "Oh, I'm a Boy Scout." I'm like, "Oh, so you're homosexual? Oh, nice to meet you. I hope you enjoy the gay sex." I've associated with the Boy Scouts with homosexuality ever since. But this big dude, he looked like a policeman. He looked like a general. This Boy Scout recruiter, and he threatened me with violence. So I've associated policemen and police officer types with violence ever since. These are the bad guys. They're not good guys. And my recent experience with social media, when I tried to protect a guy who he admitted to me that his wife was trying to set him up and had threatened to cut off his junk while he was asleep. I told him, "Dude, you need to move out of that house, go stay with your mom or something, or just get an apartment, file for divorce, because I could not live with a woman that's threatening to cut off my junk while I'm asleep." Well, a few days later, sure enough, the police did come and pick the guy up. And so I tried to defend him on social media by saying that, hey, I believe the guy's innocent. I think his wife is cheating on him and everything. I didn't name any names or anything, but I just wanted to sort of put it out there in the event that it might help. That, if someone's researching his background, a police investigator might be researching his background, they'll look at that and they'll see, oh, well, he has a corroborating, there's evidence that this is, just a sort of a he said, she said kind of a thing, and protect him. And it did end up sort of helping to protect him, because his ex old lady or whatever sent one of her other boyfriends here threatening to kill me. So I didn't even know what it was about. Apparently, they found out it was me that said that on social media, and so she sent one of her other boyfriends here to kick my ass, so to speak. "I'm here to kick your ass." Broke the gate and smashed into all this stuff. And so I called the police. Well, when they came, I was like, "Dude threatened to kill me, and broke my gate and everything. He lives right down there." I gave him the name, gave him the address and everything. They're like, "Well, why is he here?" They were like wanting to come in my house and look at, "What are you doing wrong? What do you have here that we can steal?" These are bad guys. These cops are not here to protect and serve me. They're not here to protect and serve the public. It's just a money-making opportunity for them. They're like, "What do you got here that we can confiscate, or what are you doing wrong? How can we make money off of you? Put you in a cot so we'll get more money for our mega prison." Not good. Not good. The system is failing, and social media is really helping to accelerate this downfall of our American system of government. So, yeah, and Putin was the ringleader. So not long after Trump gets put in there, he shuts down the government right when I lost my food card. So I have no food. I'm stuck in this house. No food, no job, no transportation, no way to go look for a job. Neighbors who all, think I'm crazy, or, something's wrong with him. He ain't got the right skin color, So they already, the few that were there, that one, thinks I'm crazy, so I must be a danger or something, or if anything goes missing, oh, he must be the one that's doing the stealing. Motherfucker, I ain't stole shit in my life except for a case of Yoo-Hoos when I worked at the fucking beverage company, and I told all of that to the police. So motherfucker wants to call the police on me. I'm still upset about that. I have not gotten any sort of reparations. I've not gotten any sort of a settlement from him. He didn't never apologized. He never came and said, oh, well, maybe you really do know some science. Maybe you really do understand how your invention works. Maybe you really did invent something. He apparently my parents, when they were still alive, never told my own sister, hey, your baby brother invented virtual reality and patented it. I was in Popular Science magazine. A small article. Me and my partner, my former partner, business partner, were in Popular Science magazine. Well, they got the news totally wrong too. They were talking about they hope to market it in the field of virtual reality. No. We invented the field of virtual reality. I mean, I'm not saying that the concept hasn't existed since way back in the 1940s. There's been a dozen Twilight Zone episodes. There's been a dozen even Star Trek. I mean, I was getting the idea. I'm talking about a particular, element of a video game system that includes a computer, a head tracking device, a binocular or stereoscopic heads up display mounted to the head, not as a heads up display projected out, not as a surround screen, not as any of this other stuff, the holodeck or all this, not as the normal concept of virtual reality as it already existed. Yeah, no, a specific form of virtual reality, what you now know today, is basically, two monitors in a headset with a head tracker, with a computer and a computer program. That's what we were calling artificial reality, a very specific invention that we patented, and it could have been made and it was. They basically just went around our patent. They came up with the Virtua Boy. Nintendo came out with the Virtua Boy not long after that, but it was really crappy, nowhere near as good as what it could have already been, even though the graphics were kind of slow and not all that great back then. Our tracker was real time. There was no delay. You didn't have to calculate, triangulate anything. It was X, Y, and Z coordinates straight into the computer, literally in nanoseconds. These were the fastest the fastest analog to digital converter microchips that were on the market. This is literally like new microchips that I was purchasing. So anyways, a lot of bitterness about that. The fact that I was born into a caste system. If you're not already a member of this high society, if you're not born as a producer, I'm never going to have a factory. I've been trying, like Ralph Cramden or whatever my entire life, from the honeymooners, to make money or to find some way to succeed and become a producer. Now someone from another country, like Elon Musk, born in South Africa or whatever, they can come here and they can do stuff and they can get rich very easily. But I don't care how good your idea is. I hate to be discouraging, but if you're an inventor, just keep it to yourself. Like, what's the point? Look at the fidget spinner lady. The fidget spinners was really popular a few years ago. Okay, this woman invented it like 20 years ago, patented it, thought it was a great idea, good for kids, keep them busy. Typically he's not going to smash too many televisions or, choke any children to death. A safe toy, an effective toy, a very affordable toy, all these benefits that had going. She approached Mattel and all these other, I'm sure she probably did like we did, we contacted Nintendo, Atari, IBM, Sony, every Motorola, even the chip makers. We went to every, at least 400 packages we sent out. We sent videotapes of, we were on the local news, we were in the local newspaper, we were in Popular Science, we have a patent. Here's what you could do. You could make these awesome, virtual reality headset things, or you could make the chip, you could put all this onto a single microchip and have these 3D tracking. Nothing came of it. Well, this fidget spinner lady, she had patented the fidget spinner. I'm sure she did the same thing. I'm sure she tried all that she spent her, and from what I've heard, she spent her entire life savings trying to market this. This is supposed to be the American way, right? You invent a better mousetrap and the world beats a path to your door. They beat a path to your door so they can kick your ass and arrest you. So, the free energy stuff. Look at Stan Meyer. What happened to him? Did the automakers start making water burning cars? Did the spark plug makers start manufacturing the conversion? He basically made a spark plug that would hydrolyze the water and inject plasma at the same time. So all you had to do was change the timing on your car, and it would run on water, basically hydrogen. Run on hydrogen. So no, there's people out there, oh, we're gonna have fuel cells, fuel cell technology to convert hydrogen. That's so idiotic. Like, you can convert water into hydrogen, then store it, then pump it into a car and store it, and then have a fuel cell to convert it back into electricity, and then you're going to have an electric car that runs on electricity like that. That is so absurd. Just have solid state batteries and run your car on electricity. This is the Ed Gray's type of thing. Just basically, you don't even have to have that much capacity in your battery once you get it running. Same thing with the water burning car. It's all about just get the batteries there, or even a diesel burning engine. The battery's there just to get the engine started. The energy is not coming from the burning of the fuel itself. That's just the heat is a byproduct. You don't have to have heat to get energy. And ours just gets off in the physics too. The physics is being suppressed. But again, who's doing the suppression? It's your owners, it's your farmers, it's these evil ones up there, the little gray dudes that are, stealing DNA or stealing babies or whatever it is they're eating. So anyways, I heard the little dudes like, oh, he said, why? The leader's like, I can't believe this is working. The little one's like, oh, well, thank God, because I'm so hungry. Well, first of all, they have a concept of God. Yeah, you have a concept of God, but you're still farming and milking humans for their DNA or their blood. People like me generally have to go sell their plasma, their blood, in order to get money for the things they need just to survive and make it through the fucking day. Okay? Well, I'm sorry, but I don't feel like I should have to sell my blood just to get money to get high on or something. But basically I've spent my entire life selling my blood, sweat, and tears and labor for the benefit of others. It's never been for the benefit of me. Who's looking out for me and protecting me? No one. Has YouTube helped me grow my channel, or has YouTube helped me share some sort of message? Like, I wanted to, share the message of the environment, how we could protect the environment, how you can grow your own food, oak tree identification. Oh, well, that one they did share. That one was, I had like 10,000 hits on the oak tree identification. I deleted the video because I wasn't making any money off. I was not getting any benefit from this. YouTube's making money. They were putting commercials. They're still probably putting commercials on my videos. If you see a commercial, if you watch one of my videos and you see a commercial on there, let me know. There shouldn't be any commercials on any of my videos. All my support, my only support, comes through Patreon and one patron named Anna from Stanford University. So maybe Stanford's not a racist school like Harvard. But, Pons and Fleischmann, they were suppressed by MIT, Harvard, and all the people who support and fund them, and some of the traditional news media, that's news in quotes, like Newsweek. Newsweek, back in the 30s, Newsweek was supporting the Nazis and talking about how great they were and really helping Germany and all this, And then, after the war, after the war started, I'm not sure what all they were doing, but Newsweek was one of the first ones to pile it on Pons and Fleischmann. Oh, it's not real, it doesn't work, it's just a hoax, or they were confused, or whatever. Their cold fusion is not real. Hollywood's in on it now. Oh, it's not real, this or that. They're still playing these sort of games on there now. This is what's happening in the UFO community now. They're all this infighting, they're attacking this guy, so this guy's attacking them back. And so now I don't know what to think, Do I trust, Lou, who seems to be saying all the right things? Or do I trust all these other people who are like, oh, it's just there's no such thing as aliens, it's just the government wants to threaten you so you'll agree to go to the next war or whatever, Man, bull fucking shit. We have real threats out there like fucking Putin. We need weapons. This is why I really regret, I'm mad at myself that I didn't join the Navy when I wanted to, when I was invited to. I'm mad at myself that I didn't go and build all these advanced weapon ideas that are in my head, because I didn't want the thought that any of my creations are used to kill people. But now I've kind of changed my mind. I'd like to see Putin dead. I'd like to see Putin in prison getting sodomized by former Boy Scouts. Yeah, that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see Donald Trump, because him and Facebook's owner, I'd like to see him in prison being sodomized, because the only thing that's really been protecting my equal rights is the federal government, not the local police, not my local neighbors, not my family, not YouTube, not Facebook. Nobody on Facebook helped me when I, except for these 4 women that I named, has helped me, or is protecting me. Again, the only reason I have internet at all is because of Anna, my one patron that I managed to acquire on Patreon. Now, granted, I didn't go on there and I didn't schmooze and I didn't really, try to butter people up or whatever, but it's because I wasn't getting any hits. Nobody, it was going on there every day, but there's no comments to respond to. Nobody. Facebook never shared any of my posts where I was praising, the government or the system or anything. Nothing good I had to say, or helpful or useful or real information. Like the fact that cancer's already been cured. A guy named Brzezinski cured cancer, and he was brutally suppressed. Well, that post never got shared. Okay. So, Facebook has its own agenda, and I don't agree with it, and I see Facebook as my enemy. So why am I going to help my enemy? Why am I going to go on there and watch commercials or read your posts or my friends' posts on there? I'm sorry, buddy, that I'm not seeing your posts. I'm sorry I'm not on there to chat with you. But it's because I feel like Facebook is my personal enemy, as well as the enemy of the American people. I consider myself one of the American people, right? But I'm just one guy. But yeah, I see Facebook is literally the enemy of the United States. Twitter, to their credit, they shut Trump down and got him out of there. Which but how much of the racist Russian propaganda is still on there? How much racist propaganda is still being promoted on Twitter? I don't know. How much violence is still being promoted on Twitter? I don't know. But freedom of speech does not include promoting violence, promoting racism, promoting the downfall or destruction of the United States government. That's not part of your free speech. Sorry to say. But now Elon Musk is saying he wants to get back on there and let Trump, he wants to control Twitter now and let Trump get back on there. Bad idea, Elon, buddy. Bad idea. You got a lot of good ideas. I like your idea for a hardware wallet, for digital currency that can't be hacked. That way you could still have, peer-to-peer transactions just like cash. So it'd be safer, more secure than cash, and better for the environment all around if the servers are run by clean energy and renewable energy. If the servers are not being run with clean energy, then it's digital currency is worse for the environment than printing. The tree forests we have, the tree farms we have around here, at least it supports wildlife and habitat for animals, during the 20 years or so that they're allowed to grow. Now, yeah, they clear cut it, which is really devastating. But, a lot of those animals manage to escape and move on to the next set of woods that's coming up. Anyhow, so paper's not as horrible. I used to be really, really opposed to paper. But until we have literally clean energy as, renewable, I'm talking clean energy, like cold fusion, lithium power, metal power, these other metals, clean nukes, basically. Not plutonium and uranium, which is that's just bomb making material. That's all that is. Those are not profitable nuclear power plants. Look at Chernobyl. That didn't really profit the Ukrainian people very well, and I'm sure it's not going to be too good for all these Russian soldiers that invaded Chernobyl and camped out there and started eating the radioactive dirt there. That shit needs to go. No more nukes. We need clean cold fusion, clean electric cars, rapid charging solid state batteries, solar panels. Solar panels is all you really need. That would provide all the excess electricity that you need, and you can store electricity in thousands of ways. You don't have to have the solid state battery. You don't have to wait on it in some new advanced futuristic technology in the future. You could change your ways right now and start living in harmony with Mother Nature. And you could do what's right and support a huge settlement for the victims of the Boy Scouts of America. Say yes and force those motherfuckers to pay, because I'm dying here without, if I don't get some kind of funding from the government or from the feds or from whoever has authority over these evil institutions like the Catholic Church, like the Boy Scouts. Inherent evil is what I call that. So, inherently evil. Not born evil. Someone converted them into this sort of homosexual system of living in a convent with, hey, that's fine. You want to be a lesbian, that's fine, but keep it in the convent. Don't try to, don't let my little boy that I never had, but don't let my child be taken in some back room and molested by a dude that looks like a cop. So, well, I'm still recording. I guess I'll just leave it here, though. It's an hour and a half, and I can't dwell on the past anymore. I gotta think about the future. But the future is I don't have a camera, so I can't really make decent videos. I can't screen share like I would like to screen share and analyze other people's videos. That's what I would like to do. I would like to just analyze other people's videos and give opinions. I'd like this to be an opinion channel, an opinion and entertainment channel. That's what I would like to do. But I don't have the technology to do it. I can't, if I can't share screens and analyze other people's videos, if I don't have a camera to film other people's videos, or other, like news, analyze news. I would like to analyze current world geopolitics, the war in Ukraine, the ongoing Cold War with Russia, the cyber war that I feel like I'm in now, a cyber war, info wars or whatever. Analyze. Let's look at how crazy Alex Jones was. Well, how much of what he said was real? How much of what he said was accurate? The Bohemian Grove and all that stuff. How much of that shit's really going on? That's the news that you need to be hearing. But the mainstream reporters and mainstream media has totally dropped the ball on real reality. They're living in their own virtual world, or they're trying to create a future. They're trying to manipulate and create their own future. And so I totally disagree with both sides now. Like, CNN, what the hell are they doing? Like, I really don't have a clue now what they're doing. And Fox, well, all along, that's just been nothing but shit stirring. That's literally the right arm of the Russian government, or Putin. Fox has worked to divide this country, to foster racism. It really is targeted towards old white people and racists. So, if you like Fox News and that's all you watch, you're probably an older person who's a racist, and we're not going to be friends anyways. So, go for it, Happy for you. Keep watching your Fox entertainment shit. And, but real news, yeah, you probably, a free press, that shit's out the window. If Putin succeeds, and Fox News succeeds, continues on and takes over the White House again, yeah, you can say bye to truth, free press, all that. So that's my 2-bit Da Vinci for you. Thanks for watching.